Hey, everybody, welcome to this introduction and welcome to Block Party number 128. I'm Jamin and hello, Marco.
Hey, Jamin, good to be here.
Awesome.
Excited. An even numbered breakout room or block party. Does that mean Dharmendra?
No, Dharmendra was here last week, so no Dharmendra for 128. He's here the first and third Fridays of every
That's
month, so this is like the fourth Friday or whatever. But anyway,
okay.
So but we're going to be focusing a lot on kindred spirits, and so I just kind of want to go through a lot of the headlines in that we've been talking about the last few days, some of which are like directly related to kindred spirits, others are, tangentially related, as the case may be. And the main one that we've been talking about and working on related to kindred spirits is that of sister communities, right? And forming this planetary network of sister communities that become directly involved in conversations on whatever topics they want, whatever subjects they want. And, topics that are of common interest to all of us, like global warming and food production, agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. Food production and distribution through things like food healers. These topics that are of common interest to everyone, will become very active topics. And I think we have that there's tremendous potential for both sister communities as a whole, as well as sister classrooms and sister schools, which becomes a protected part of that whole. that that as a whole, sister communities as a whole, including sister classrooms, forms and constitutes a collective intelligence at a planetary scale, which is probably just what we need at this point to achieve something very, very close to a planetary consensus, firmly rooted and grounded in in science and engineering, exactly as laid out in the narrative on kindredspirits.earth, which everyone should read as soon as you have an opportunity. And that means, just rigorous science and engineering, and laying out the options, laying out how, urgent the problem is, and exactly how many tipping points we've crashed through, and how irreversible, et cetera, and what can we do, right? There will be tremendous discussion about all that, which is exactly what the world needs. Let's face it. We need to come together and talk about this. No, it's not enough that some pundits on television talk about it from time to time. No, it's not enough that Bill Nye the Science Guy does some programs on it. No, it's not enough that fill in the blanks. It's time for the world to come together as people, without rank, without hierarchy, without dominion, dominance, salaries, bonuses, promotions. You're fired, right? Politics. Just people coming together to say, hey, our planet's on fire. Our planet is melting. Our planet is XYZ. You know the facts. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm envisioning all this going. Not that it's up to me, mind you. I'm just envisioning, right? Everyone can have their own visions, and we're going to be meeting and talking about this soon enough, like at the block party. So I just wanted to give a taste of some of the things we'll be talking about. Any thoughts, Marco, or questions or comments or feedback?
Well, I know generally the people that'll get this email are people that we know and already have some have context for what we're talking about when we say kindred spirits, and that was the celebration of the Choctaw gift to the Irish during the famine in 1847, and we recently did a celebration of that in Cork, Ireland, and a press conference following that with Indigenous people of
Yeah,
Ireland, and so people that are going to see this that get it forwarded to needed a little bit of context.
yeah, but that's all summarized in kindredspirits.earth. So just go to
Right.
kindredspirits.earth, and that's it. Check it out.
Perfect.
And, but thank you for that, Marco. And I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's just it. I was going to say, for more than just this, know that we did this, and then go check out kindredspirits.earth to see what all happened, and then you'll be up to speed.
Exactly. And in particular, watch the conference, the recording of the conference, the Kindred Spirits Conference, July 19th this year. So and then at another, but anyway, there's plenty for us to talk about in terms of the details of sister communities and how that might work, and sister classrooms and how that might work, and different programs and this and that. Partly because we want to walk before we run, and also in terms of sister classrooms specifically, for example, we want to ensure that the children first and foremost get to know each other, get to connect and share whatever they want to share about, right? So they're not going to be recruited to talk about X, Y, or Z topics or anything like that. Everyone will talk about whatever they want to talk about with whomever they want to talk about, that they're sufficiently cleared to do. So like I said, sister classrooms will be a protected space just for classrooms which are approved and meet the criteria, etc., and very protected. But I think that I personally feel that the classrooms, the kids, the teachers, the parents, etc., it's just a really great way to bring the whole community in, right? Because there are classrooms in every community all around the world, and the kids have so much energy, so much free time, so much curiosity, and will be so fascinated to be plugged into a whole planetary network, right? I mean, how cool could that be? Oh, you must be on mute, Marco. Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, we're finally at that stage in technology where we have the ability, without physically traveling, to interact around, with each other from around the world face to face. Kids can see what's going on, not just read about it or see some news clips about what these kids are doing in another country. They can meet on a regular basis and talk and share visually, as well as interact verbally. So it's pretty amazing where we're at right now, and it's what we needed to uh make to really make us one world of kindred spirits. It's so now with the ability, we just need to play with it and let it be everything it can be. awesome potential, and I'm excited to uh, get it rolling and see what something that I've said's been missing for, got messed up during the last 100 years, where when we started, public education for everybody, and we separated, the families and the kids for much of the day. Now we can come together and more people can work from home and be with their kids and interact with parents and kids from around the world. This is just remarkable what we're on the cusp of.
Totally, totally. Because, I mean, it finally has the right focus and the right origins, it's grounded in these very beautiful origins. And that gives it such a solid foundation and such a solid, just, true north. Um, and so, and then, of course, out of that the possibilities are endless. Now, if we were doing this in 1975, I could also say, yeah, the possibilities are endless. But in 1975, we didn't have the same urgencies that we have today. We didn't have a single mega planetary problem that was, just staring us in the face, in our faces, happening right in front of us right now. Right now, we've got half a dozen. The threat of nuclear war, global pandemic, global warming, the sixth mass extinction, slash destruction of the biosphere. I should say slash and burn the destruction of the biosphere to make way for animal agriculture, right? Mahogany furniture, animal agriculture, lumber generally. Simple as that. It's all about money. It's all about economics. And anyway, where was I? I was just enumerating them, and and then you've got, food and water shortages, the basics of life, right? Caused by droughts, etc., caused by global warming. And then finally, the threat of economic collapse. It's like, what more do we need, right? What I mean, and these are all in our face right now. Everything's happening at once.
Yeah, this is definitely okay, way to put it. We're at the most dire point we've been in our modern history right now. We've got more things staring us in the face that could end us all at one time than we've had in this this current civilization.
Well, it's like we're living the Cuban Missile Crisis every single day, because you never know which of those six giant popcorn kernels are going to pop in front of your face, or multiple at once. I mean, one of them already has popped, called global pandemic, and we're just living the fallout of it. And this, it continues to evolve and spread and blah. Anyway, the nuclear missile thing is really significant. Nuclear war, but I won't take time to go there. But I mean, my goodness, I mean, any one of these alone is stop you dead in your tracks and say, oh my God, either look up or don't look up. But this thing is here and it's now and it's real, and we better do something about it, right? But now it's that times 6.
Yeah.
We got a half dozen of these all at once. So anyway, that's why I kind of can't help but, envision what for me is obvious. If we really take responsibility for how big kindred spirits, sister communities is becoming and is on track to become, because it's just going to spread like wildfire. It's just going to go crazy. If we take responsibility for that, it inevitably takes us to, basically one of two directions. Is this something for just, a feel good, happy feely, touchy feely? We all get to see each other and know each other and love each other and kumbaya, but don't try to mess with planetary stuff because, we're just here to love each other. Or do we open up the hood and say, where's the steam coming from? Why is this car overheating and what can we do about it? Right? Do we just crank up the stereo and pretend the engine's not on fire? Or do we pull over and pop the hood and, be grown-ups about what's going on? Right? So will sister communities step in to be the grown-ups of the world? Well, of course. Who else? Right now, sister communities will be one network. There's lots of different networks that are in one way, shape, or, look at, what is it? Unity Earth, whatever. They're one big network. There's the Sign network. Those two are, overlapping. And that's how it should be. What we need is for all these networks that are working on one facet or another of the whole, we need for all these networks to come together. One of the cool things about sister classrooms is each classroom is a network of, say 30 kids. And all these networks then connect to each other, right? Through sister classrooms. It's a network of networks, right? And therefore, the potential to be an incredible planetary collective intelligence, probably with sister communities as a whole, will definitely evolve to become a planetary collective superintelligence, smart enough to really synthesize and make clear finally exactly what's going on in a non-controversial, in a non-controversial way. Here are the facts. Here's the science. Here's the data, right? And there are active debates going on right now about the facts and how we interpret them. And those are happening in breakout rooms 17, 23, 24, 39, and 102. Check the main menu, just click on, global warming, because that's one of, a couple dozen main topics that are always, kind of like Craigslist style. These are the main, click on them, and then you'll find all the conversations that are currently happening. That's where we're headed. We need to be responsible about where we're headed. That's where we're headed. So let's be responsible for that, is my, where I'm coming from. It's like sister communities is going to form just in time. And then, of course, the network of networks with all these other networks, that's a different level of homework assignment for us. Putting together sister communities, that's one thing. Okay. Now, how do we connect with all the other networks that are out there systematically, programmatically, so that we form a hyper-connected, Dutch universe, as we talk about, decentralized universe of transformational conversations that are hyper-connected. Anyway, so, let's talk about all that. To facilitate our part in that, one thing we've talked about this last week, and we'll go into details in the block party, but is having two Zoom rooms, this one and a second Zoom room. The second Zoom room would be where, like, if someone's going to tweet out to the world with hashtag Dutch42, hey, we're having this meeting, that would send people to the second Zoom room, whose only purpose is to separate legitimate visitors who are interested in participating in these conversations from Zoom bombers. because when you tweet something out, when you tweet out a Zoom link, you get Zoom bombers. It's just what happens. So let's deal with them in a separate Zoom room. So everyone who's here is essentially, is who is supposed to be here.
They're insulated from the people that would disrupt.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's it. So we can talk about that. Another thing we'll talk about is World Food Healers Day. Food Healers Los Angeles, which this last Sunday had over 800 people served. We'll talk about that. I mean, it was just nonstop lines, like 3 different lines, 2 for food, 2 for agua fresca, 1 for food, whatever it was. Anyway, so, as sister communities, sister classrooms takes its own evolutionary path, and it's got its own evolutionary path at this point. Well, number one, let's help it along. So please join us. Number one, join us for the meetings that we're going to be holding tomorrow during the block party. See the agenda below, but basically starting around 9 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to be, delving into it. Join us and help us make, kindred spirits and sister communities and sister classrooms a reality. All hands on deck. Let's do it, and let's, move it forward. Let's accelerate all that. And in parallel with that, let's flesh out the logistics of the 2 Zoom rooms, and what are all these filters and everything? What does it mean to be, approved or not, or whatever? Do we have membership and all that? I'd love for us to work out all this stuff with, like, between a combination of Airtable and Trove Catalyst, and we can talk about all that. Let's just call out that the technical logistics of that, but it's
Yeah.
I think it's fairly straightforward. There's just a database of meetings that are scheduled and who is allowed in which meetings. And yeah,
And when you say by allowed, it's just that your intentions are good, and we just don't need.
oh, no, but it goes beyond that. Like, let's say, 2 classrooms are gonna join together, right? So if they're already part of the sister classrooms program, they're in the database, they're approved, whatever, certified, vetted, then they go straight to this Zoom room where they're directed to the appropriate breakout room,
Right.
right? And so on and so on. So this becomes Grand Central Station for people who are now. So who gets to go to that specific breakout room? Only kids and teachers from those 2 classrooms. Nobody else.
Right.
Nobody else. That's what I mean by allowed. And now the other allowed that you're talking about is that they not be a Zoom bomber, and that they basically come to this space with an intention of, being positive. What positive steps can we take to bring ourselves together as humanity and to save, heal, and transform life on Earth, including the existence of our own species?
And I'm realizing right now this is really unique. We have problems in the world, and people know that and see that. Some people still don't quite grasp it, but for those that do, and want to make a difference, but they have a full life, just putting food on the table and keeping the roof over their head. If you can come even to the block party, if you do no more than show up for the block party and be part of the discussion and the planning to get this all into action, you're part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So even if you can only make block parties on Friday and help brainstorm the organization and putting things together, you're helping to save all life on the planet at this point. So it's an opportunity to for people to help uh make the world a better place. And with that connection, we've got it here, we've got your input, and it'll grow when you can't be here. Your efforts that you could put in just once a week may be a key. You might have that key part that we need at some point to move to a next step. So just a massive opportunity for good here.
Beautiful. So bottom line from all that is please spread the word. Come yourself and invite others to come, and let's just make this happen. So we'll talk also about food healers and upcoming World Food Healers Day, November 19th, Saturday, this year. And at some point, I'm sure we'll talk about an update on our conversations and work in the realm of SRM, solar radiation management, which is, one of those, it actually stands alone in its ability to solve the most critical problem that we're facing right now, which is exponential global warming, which is virtually guaranteed to kill us all if we don't stop it. SRM is the only class of solutions that can possibly stop it, right? That's one of those fundamental truths in the realm of science and engineering that, can be demonstrated scientifically, right? And is something that everyone should know about and that everyone should be talking about until such that we can achieve some planetary consensus. Do we do it? Yes or no? And if so, how? This is a planetary good of the utmost urgency, importance, and we need to get it right. It's as simple as that. Do we do it? Yes or no, right? Let that be a planetary choice that we make together. How are we going to arrive at the right choice? By talking about it, right? Anyway, I'm just giving one example, an extremely important one. But there's going to be a whole taxonomy of topics, each of which is an important part of the whole, all of which need to happen. And through the network of networks, with hyperconnectivity means just having one central guide or directory. Think TV guide, but for the Dutch universe, right? And a tiny portion of that will be kindred spirits, tiny but growing, right? Will be kindred spirits. But whether kindred spirits is small or gigantic, it's always a part of the whole. That's what's important. And one conversation can change the course of history. Why? Because it can spread and grow and evolve, right? That's what's so exciting about kindred spirits and the larger Dutch universe and planetary collective superintelligence, is that we're finally, going to have the ability to quickly come up with brilliant collective solutions and answers and plans for what do we do in the face of all this. Passing the speaking ladle.
Yeah, I don't really have more to add to that right now. That's pretty much sums it up. It's huge. We can look at this as the from the negative disaster that it is, that we're in the 6th mass extinction of life on this planet. And in case you didn't, you're not understanding, when we say mass extinction, we're talking about people, us, it's not just, there are no dinosaurs. This time we're the dinosaurs. Only hopefully the goal here is that we'll bond together, work together, and come up with a solution that we will survive. And so we can look at that as, this terrible thing that's going to happen, or it is happening. We are well into the 6th mass extinction right now. And if the right things aren't done in the next few months and year, if we don't put together a plan and start implementing it, we won't be here to argue about what level of CO2 is acceptable in 2030, because that we just won't be here. So what we can look at is, hey, this is the biggest challenge and we can have fun solving it. It's a massive opportunity for us to work together and see what we can do in the way of making life better on this planet. It's yeah, we really need to put the positive spin. This is our opportunity for greatness. And with that, I'm complete.
Beautiful. So come join us for block party number 128, Friday, September 23rd, 2022. Follow the link. Please forward this to everyone, and we'll be talking about all these topics and more. All right. Thanks, Marco. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jamin.
See you
Look forward to tomorrow.
Me too. Thanks.